Google Classroom isn't magical all by itself. It's how teachers and students choose to use it. A lot of magic can happen through assignments. So let's learn how to set up an assignment and how to create an effective assignment. Let's click Create and Assignment. And now I'm ready to give this a title. There are a lot of teachers who come up with different naming systems with their titles. They may number them, they may put the subject with a hyphen in the title, they may put a date. This is up to you. Find what works for your students and make it happen. The next part are instructions, and I cannot impress on you enough. Please make these very clear. You're not only telling your students what to do, but you're also telling their parents what to do. To help keep them organized and on track. So make sure that your instructions are very, very detailed. Everything you want them to do. No one likes to read a huge block of text, so feel free to number these or put spaces between them. You can even come up and use that little emoji keyboard extension I was telling you about and add images with these just to break up the text a little bit. For today, I'm just going to copy and paste some instructions that I wrote just a second ago, and I like to divide my assignments up in some kind of manner. Maybe it's the 5 E's, maybe it's an appetizer, entree, and a dessert, but I usually do one called Learn, Practice, Connect, or Learn, Practice, Do. So with my assignment, I can now add different attachments to this one assignment, as long as I'm keeping it organized. So first of all, I said, let's watch a YouTube video on fractions. So I'm going to come down to Add, YouTube, and I'm going to find a video on fractions. Now for the sake of time, I'm picking one I've already watched, and that's important to remember. Make sure you watch a video all the way through before you show it to your students. And in YouTube, you might have to click on the blue Approve button after you've watched it all the way through. I love showing videos in YouTube. It takes away the scary ads, the pop-ups, and the suggested videos at the end. My second step to practice is to complete a Google form. So I'm going to go to Add, and I have already created a Google form in my Drive. So I'll go there to find it. I'll look at my most recent since I have worked on this recently. But if I don't find it, I can come up and search for it. We'll stick that in. Okay, so these are in order. I have my Learn, my Practice, and my last one for Connect was to open a Flipgrid and respond to today's prompt. So I wanted them a way to interact with each other. So I'm going to Add, and this time I'm going to add a link. And I have this Flipgrid that we worked on, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy that link and paste it in. If you're interested in any of these tools, please check out our FCPS OIT YouTube channel because we do have directions for all of these. So look, I've made kind of a complicated assignment here. These don't have to start out like this, especially with younger students. You might just want to have one concept per assignment, and that is totally okay. Please do what works for you. So there's the bare bones of my assignment. If I look over to the right, I have a few more decisions to make. If by default it goes to the class I'm working in, but remember, if you teach multiple sections, you can send this assignment to all of those classes at one time. Just remember, if you need to make a change, you do need to go back into each class and edit those. If you're only sending to one class, you can choose which students you want this to go to. By default, it's all students, but this is great for group work. What if you have one group of students who's working at a different level? Actually, it should be several groups of students. You can send each group their own work. There would be no confusion because students would only see what's assigned to them. I can choose to give this points. Maybe this particular assignment is only going to be worth 50 points. And that will show up in my grade book, which we will talk about at the end of our course. Or I could even leave this assignment ungraded if I wanted to. The next part is the due date, and I highly recommend you add a due date to your assignments. By doing this, you just click on a date, and a time is optional. Hey, look, I don't give due dates to catch students being late. I don't say, oh, you missed it, you turned it in 2 minutes late, you can no longer achieve it. By giving a due date, you are helping create a to-do list for them, which I'll show you in a few minutes. You're also putting a date on their Google Calendar for them, so I highly recommend you add due dates to your assignments. You can add the topic from here. We've explored this earlier. I can choose a day that I already have or a topic that I already have or create a new one. These last two, rubrics and originality reports, we'll get into in a later session. So I'm ready to assign. Don't forget you can schedule this for later or you can save it as a draft. So now that I've clicked assign, I can come down and here is the assignment that I just created. There it is. Don't forget, if you need to edit, just come back to the 3 dots and choose edit. Please make sure to check out the next video where we'll talk about the different kinds of attachments and some magical things you can do with them.